끝.
사코 실시간 스트리밍을 시작했다. 사코 뭐해 임마? 니 혼자 노는 거야 지금? 나 치사하게.
대놓고 일단 실시간 스트리밍을 하지마.
알람 다 뜬다 이 자식아. 너를 기다린다. 당신을 기다려요.
보냈어요.
엉치네. 왔네.
단톡방.
That's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat? In a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern-wheeler or a side-wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high. And those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
아니 다 했다 이 자식아. 널 때렸구나.
Somewhere out there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
제가 방금 앞쪽까지 가야 되잖아요. 그거 레스 모드하는 풀면 돼.
그냥 가지만 넣으면 되는데.
네. 이 장판 그냥 또 붙이면 돼요. 그 0.9.20.1.3 있잖아요.
싫어. 터퍼 싫었어 이미. 이미 터퍼 싫었어. 하기 싫어.
다른 모드 해보시는
그렇지.
모두 깨질 수 있을 것 같아서.
You ain't seen the likes of me.
깨지면 하지.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
되겠지. 너무 단호선 때가지 마라 이 자식아. 뒤에 맨날 오스트리아 가지야. 킹은 얼마 돼도 다 나오네.
네네.
다시
나오는 거는
거대를 나오고. 그리고 다시 서버 넘어가지고.
이거 일단 로그아웃 한 다음에
I'm gonna make you pay for
생각도
that.
선택은 그 제가 깔아놓은 모드 중에서 페이그린 서버 모드가 있거든요. 한번 접속한 상태로 계속 들어가요.
문제 들어라. 자, 그럼 와서. 서로 뭐 적용된 것 같은데.
모두 적용됐는지 안 됐는지 확실하게 알려면은
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
안 나와 있어요. 뭐 이제 다음 티어까지 뭐 얼마가 없으면 가방 이런 거.
But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
아빠 땡
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a
It
challenge.
was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed good. I don't think it will.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsank.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Breed?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. I was coughing up smoke and pretty damn pissed. I was done playing games with those boys. It was time to settle this once and for all.
아니 부탁을 하라고 그거 말고 멈춰라.
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
그래서 독한 팁이 없더라.
내가 독한 낸 거?
그래, 이거 독한을 해야지. 네가 보고 네가 딜하고 네가 토징 해야 되는 거 아니니?
저로 어떻게 킹을 해요? 애초에 장갑이 25mm니까 일단 자체가 안 된답니다.
좀 노력하면 될 수도 있어.
궤도로
넌
바뀌고
할 수 있어. 넌 해수잖아. 해수는 알 수 있어.
너의 노력이 부족한 게 아닐까?
아니야, 해수는 할 수 있어. 난 사람 안 되는데. 해수는 돼. 어슬렁. 저 밉상을 때리러 가볼까?
아, 가지 마요. 죽어요. 굴러가지 마요. 그게 내리면 안 돼. 그러면.
그만 가야지. 얼마나 가면 뜻밖의 동네 안 그어져 있네.
빨간색이 무전거리고.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
저의 막타 실력은 개쩝니다.
너의 궤도를
My
쌓아.
own brothers died tragically.
저 때리면은 막타 칠 수 있긴 함.
딱 막타네.
막타 칠 수 있긴 함.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down, Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself.
엘키가
I'd
와버려.
heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer.
아, 보인다.
I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
보인다. 스팟. 저 새끼 대가리 내한테 돌리고 있는데.
They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above, so I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
안돼, 전투작실. 이렇게 돌았나?
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
한약바퀴 이겨. 아, 나 죽는다.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
What'd you say?
오,
I can't hear a
끝났다.
goddamn thing.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch
Goddamn
them.
Pinkerton!
From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. First, I would need to get my ass out of there.
민팔 레이팅.
왜?
그 민팔 레이팅 수치 정하는 기준이 뭐예요 도대체? 스타트를 8,000을 했는데 레이팅이 2,200밖에 안 나왔어.
기대 레이팅 높은 거
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to stall.
이거 사고 맨날
I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
아구 킬러 있다. 아구 킬러 있다.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
보라색이잖아.
보라색이 되긴 가겠지 뭐.
근데 이거는 그렇게 했는데 파란색 나오는데.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall.
내가 본 파란색 새끼들은
There were no
이렇게
passengers aboard that day.
야, 그 세상은 좀 넓은가 봐. 아직 우리가 못 만난 파란색이 좀 많나 보다.
그렇게 게임 잘 풀어나가는 파란색 새끼들 모집을
레버했겠지.
니가 3,500원을
아니, 근데 파란색 색들이 딱 그거는 절충 아니야, 절충.
파란색이었는데 그냥 레버를 해가지고 앞에 받은.
니를 4,500 하면은 인파를 13,000을 주고 어시스트를 8,000을 하면은 인파는 2,200을 주고 너무 차이 나는 거 아니야?
가서 스팟이나 해라 새끼야.
동전치 않은 새끼들
알랄라리나 하라고.
쏠리를 하는 거야.
알랄라라라고.
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights,
알았다.
but I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
쪽이나 해.
나 다주포 여기에 오면 항상
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway,
보러 갈 거니까.
so I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
그네가 개꿀이다.
근데에서 어시스트 8,000을 없어.
아싸.
치는 거지.
간만에 맞는데. 너씨 먹었냐?
먹었죠. 그대로 다 먹었어 나. 치는 거지.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
LTTV. 아, 진짜 안 되겠네. 도줘야지.
아니요, 그 STV가 못 봐요, 그거는. 너무 많아.
하지. 야, 간만에 잘 맞는다. 왜 이렇게 잘 맞아? 고각.
불팔선.
아씨.
유후. 고맙지?
안 맞았다.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a
You
hand.
mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read
적군전은
about?
뭐해?
Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
없다.
언덕이 있는데? 중전인가?
이겸인 것 같지?
이름이다.
봐봐 지금 파란색 새끼들은 저런다니까. 파란색 군면일 것 같은데. 군면 새끼들은 저런다.
조심해라.
From the Pinkerton?
최공사 조심해라.
No, son.
설마 보겠어요?
I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
쏜다. 안 맞았다.
마지막에 포탄 맞춘 사람이
나는 혼자마다
이제 너가
받고 있다.
옵작이나 봐볼까?
스팟킬 3100 했어 지금.
저거 이제
내가
똑같다.
나 언덕 소리 죽였는데 이제 언덕 안 보여.
언덕 봐요 그러면.
내가 쏠 거야.
너 죽는데?
도망갔다. 도망갔다.
발목 들었어요. 잡으면 돼요 이제.
넣었다고 가.
F3 저거 시야 되게 안 좋은데? 와, 이게 아무도 못 봤어.
정이 없는 거 아니야?
위장 스킨을 발랐더니
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
그때 이거 스킨 바르니까
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry,
Who was he?
the fastest gun in the gang, right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay,
반대로 말하는 거 들을 줄 알고.
though some folks might dispute that.
죽은 놈 이름 뭐야? 블랙이라고 비야? 존나 웃기네.
베를린 T34B.
아이고 아프겠다. 아이고 아프겠다.
검정색 T34네.
2500킬 했다.
진짜네. T34B도 있네. 첫 단계 다 있어. 아니 근데 왜 검은색?
그러니까.
뭔가 좀 더 럭셔리한 그런 느낌을 주기 위해서 도색을 검은색으로 치.
아이씨. 부들부들.
그래봤자 T34지. 돈을 더 벌어주는 것도 아니고.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamp for South America.
포신 때리고 싶다.
동그라생이잖아요.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
그렇다. 미니멈 때문에 들어갔다. 나 3200gram. 스파레라 비요.
팟게 4,700. 100불.
탱풀방이야.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
알라라라네. 아, 안 됐다. 거기서는 봐주지. 야, 저 경찰차 자주나 잡아라.
손가락 내가 쏠래. 내가 쏘고 싶어. 내가 쏘고 싶다고.
That kid Curry's kind of crazy.
후일 사이 나서요 그럼.
Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
맞췄네.
야, 이 정도는 먹어줘야 되는 거 아니야?
5,000딜 넣었다. 스팟딜 조져버렸다.
Listen here.
자살당으로 다 킬했어.
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
막 때문에 까말로네.
쟤 저한테 죽었네. 쟤 죽었다.
We don't kill him. Kid'll kill us.
나 살고 가.
멈췄는데?
야,
야, 그거 맞은다. 렉 때문에. 렉거 맞은 거야?
아니? 나저 새끼 들어갔어.
아니, 내가 튀기고 처음에 멈췄어, 그게.
아니야.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close
야,
by,
우리
however,
일찍이다.
plotting something nasty.
일찍이다.
I just needed a clue as to their
경험치
whereabouts.
1등이다.
추추.
야, 내가 저 바샷 킬딸 자주보다 게임 많이 했다, 야.
아니 봐봐 씨발
I
나 지금
found one.
리플레이팅
A
647
map
나왔다고.
with their
800이야 나
bold
지금.
plan clearly
Yeah,
marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle,
존나
property of the Union Pacific.
난 지금 유니컴인데?
경험치
뭐한테 있는 거라 돼?
경험치 1등 먹었는데 지금.
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
착한 해줘야 되는데 우리 면을 뺐으니까 티어를 타지 않을래?
그렇다면 이보다 내가 참.
Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me.
아, 1, 3일. 쟤왜 1, 3일이야?
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards.
131 중전차들.
A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
그냥 티가 낮춘 거다.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
조금만 886으로 바꾸고.
아니 그 킥좀 깎고 중간포 들고
꽤 괜찮아요 6티어에서는.
6터를 안 가서 그랬지.
톤나 슬프네 갑자기.
확실한 거는 정규 탱크보단 좋아.
But the wild bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Guess there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one.
있는지 없는지도 모른다고 이거.
Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
학습에 인식하냐? 학습에 인식이야.
이거 몸빼기 더다 크다. 안돼 너 스파크다. 도망가자. 이거 몸빼기 더다 크다.
He's crazier than a cat in a roof.
다 떼어버려. 다 떼어. 너 스파크.
아씨. 19A네.
You ain't seen
나온대.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
6티어.
아 잠깐 6티야?
아리랑 사자 얘기하시는 거 아니에요?
6티야.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
아 이게 끝났다 근데.
개똥갑. 야 이거 왜 전부 다 러시아어로 쓰냐?
한국어 패치 안 돼 있는 거 아니에요, 그냥?
모드가 돼요 모드가.
뭔 소린지 읽어보고 말았는데.
모든 분야는 러시아 거.
아 끝났어. 아 미친다.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
아 쏠수 없다. 이기지 마라 써라.
저런 행위가.
뭔가 박치기.
좀 우리가 이길 수밖에 없게 만든 주문을 외워버렸어.
아까 킬했다.
이제 이겨도 됨?
65 1킬이다. 존나 딱했다.
아 지겠다.
킬을 해버려서.
아직 나는 배가 고프다. 겁나 짜증나는군.
So I proceeded onward. I realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
안돼.
안
제가
돼.
3킬 했어.
잘해야 돼.
뭐 500대1밖에 못했지만 3킬 했어.
아이 목이 씨발. 오 예. 이겨냈다. 이겨냈다. 맞췄다. 한 대 맞췄다. 맞추는 거 3대 맞췄는데. 이 존나 헷갈렸는데. 씨. 얘 나쁜 놈아.
예?
됐다. 3초만 기다려줘 이 나쁜 놈들아.
1500딜 했다. 할 만큼 했네.
그렇다. 500킬 했다.
결국 맞죠.
9킬 했다.
나 4킬인데.
아, 그냥 쳤어야 되는데.
난 1100킬 했어.
야,
야,
유니컴 나왔단 말이야, 지금.
난뭐 나왔어.
이따로 했는데 바로 벌었다. 미친가 아이가 이거.
림팔 3000.
나도 나는데 2899.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me.
봐봐. 딜만 봐, 저거.
It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it.
5,000킬 하겠지.
AM1-3F3으로.
Of course, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die.
대형견 될 때마다 싸도 못 하겠다.
유니컴 애들이 타면은 명품들 아마
아마존. 뭘 타고?
난잘 모르는데 물론 난 안 그러지만
My recent intent would have been unfortunate.
걔네들이 타서 명품이 아닌 게 뭐가 있어?
미국
척원.
미국 자주 뛰어.
The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it. No! Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom! Then, finally, at the last moment, Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite
나는 왜 이런
charge.
데서 휴식이지?
Well, it was a touching reunion.
로레인하고 스타 3개 있네. 골탕 감 있는데.
But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore.
노란 거는 다 골탱이네.
근데 로레인 40톤이 왜 골탱이야?
노랭이 40톤 원래 8T 아니지 않아? 9T 아니야?
Kill that SOB!
Finally, I found those boys, or more precisely, they found me.
로레인이 가샷이었나?
아, 고티어 쓰레기. 아, 그래. 나도 그거 탔었다, 씨발. 애사포공이 지금 고티어거든?
바샤트리에서 로레인이 있었어요, 그거?
그렇지. 사투리 로랭이 있었어.
쓰레기 같은 진짜.
바샤트 냈어, 지금. 나 지금 살려줘.
나한테 고마워.
아, 근데 바샤타도 존나 잘난다. 진짜 잘난다. 이게 존나 잘난다.
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
도망가라.
존나 깜짝 놀랐잖아. 씨발.
That's right. Run!
나 봉신인데? 내보다 못 하는데 저 바샷.
Show yourself, you coward!
바샤트로 라인전을 하는 레이지.
대장전 한다.
Contraption?
대장전 아닐 거예요.
나 하나 쏴. 도망가 오세요. 대장전 하나 댓글.
쫓아가는데 반응 없는 거 보니까 재장전 없는 거 같아.
야채. 나이스. 박대장 들어갔다.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
바샷 니왜 나 쏘냐? 뭐하냐? 형인데 쓰는. 째고 있네. 존나 안 맞네 무기. 아차 도망갔네. 도망은 잘 나와요. 야야 우리 점령하자. 여기 기름기에서 있으면 상대들이 우리 팀을 밀어주겠어. 상대팀 데타 좀 빠지면서. 슈퍼님이네? 아이고 잘못했어요. 슈퍼는 팬텀만 해도
그래서 자주포 세발 맞았어. 바샷 보고
역시
나가갖고 자주포 세발 맞고 걸레짝 됐어.
그래?
야 소련 애들 진짜 승무원 존나 잘 죽는다. LTTV는 차가 큰 편인데도 저러네.
어글은 끌었는데 도망가. 너 노린다.
펑커러 안 보는데? 펑커러 안 보는데 지금?
지금 쨘다. 딴 데로 간다. 딴 데로 간다. 나이스.
아 모른다.
보는 중.
야 근데 우리
돌렸어요,
팀이
돌렸어.
다 죽었다. 팀이 다 죽었다.
뭐야 이거. 우린 최선을 다했으나
펑커가
펑커러 온다.
레인이
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
신발 빼줘야 될 것 같은데 같이 들어가야 될 것 같은데.
아이씨. 펑커를 뺐다. 일단 들어가 볼까 그러면?
근데 T30 있어갖고 위험할 것 같은데. T30이 볼걸?
애들 다 온다. 뒤로 빠져. 뒤로 빠져.
못 빠지는 거 좋았어. 애들 졌어. 일단 로레인이 뒤에서 어떻게 해결해 줄 수 있을 것 같아 나는.
로레인 근데
As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
하긴 저게 경전일 수도 있죠.
And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me.
아니요? 105mm인데?
Is that what this is about?
왜?
Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
그래.
일상공포였는데?
Those were his last words.
노래 105mm 몰라. 100mm인가 105mm인가?
몰라 다 죽었어. 나 소름 별을 못했다. 나 화장실 좀 금방 갔다 올게.
So, Bob Bryant. I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was going to find this gem.
Wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this. They hopped a freight train, having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I
The
reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again, I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell? Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
It was a rickety ride and quite precarious. It was definitely safer on the inside of the train.
So...
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this gem.
Now, wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this. They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friends.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
I'm putting you down. You ain't seen the likes of me. Damn head on.
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you. I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the side, over the roof. At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
It's the damn Pinkertons! What are you?
Now, I never worked for that life myself, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember it.
I bet you are.
Come and get me, you got the guts!
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
Had enough? You'll die for
I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Well, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here. I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
You don't want to mess with us!
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
That's right. Good. You can't fight James,
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train. I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford. Yeah, Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle. After my showdown with Jesse, I continued to track his brother, Frank, and that son of a bitch, Jim. I followed those bastards into the high mountains as they were going to ground.
What mountains would that be?
Somewhere in the Ozarks, I believe. A perfect place to hide out from the authorities. In fact, before I could find them, some Indians who fled the res and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were.
Indians?
Yeah, they could have been Cheyenne, but there was all sorts of renegades roaming the landscape back then. Hey, how about another whiskey, Ben? Nothing better to soothe the troubled soul. where was I? Indians, right. I had more than my share of run-ins with the Red Man. Like that time... Did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Ah, of course I did. In fact, I could still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul. You will come to this place again and kill many more men. And the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
So, did you ever find him? Who? The man you are after.
Let me ask you something, Ben. You ever think about death?
Mr. Greaves, are you all right?
Ooh, death. Ooh, death. Won't you spare me over till another year? What is this that I can't see with ice cold hands taking hold of me? Well, I am death, none can excel. I'll open the door to heaven or hell. Oh, death, someone would pray. Could you wait to call me another day? Oh, death, oh, death, won't you spare me over till another year?
So, are you gonna answer the question?
What question is that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find him?
Reed was indeed that son of a bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. He was intent on avoiding my vengeance, but nothing was gonna stop me. Nothing. I finally did track those outlaws down. They had long rifles with scopes and were well positioned to pick off any poor soul who came anywhere close. I'm guessing Frank James believed I was responsible for the demise of his brother Jesse. I couldn't really disagree with the man, as I thought Jesse was dead then as well. He backed off as I closed in on him, but he was still intent on killing me. And when I closed in on him again, he backed off again, looking for a better angle on me. Hell, I can't fault Frank for wanting his revenge, as I was there for the same damn reason myself. At this point, I'm guessing you think Silas Greaves is a worse murderer than Jim Reed ever was.
No, sir.
A man who spent half his life killing somebody's brothers, fathers, sons.
I think you were just looking for justice, sir.
Is that what I was looking for, Dwight? Is that what it was? Justice?
Isn't that why you were hunting the James gang?
The James gang. Right. I finally found Frank holed up in his mountain cabin, and he was determined to have me dead. It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite? On your person?
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared. I'm just laying out the facts as I remember them, Jack.
Just one man! Put him down! I want that bastard dead!
That old shack? Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life! Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will! At this point, I just don't give a shit!
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him! I never did like that bastard! I am done here!
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.
So, what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookouts.
Feel you full of lead!
But I was determined not to let that murderer escape my revenge again. Rather than wander in willy-nilly, I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. "Hey, Reed!" I shouted. "No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr. While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole Younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but very friendly. At least she was to me."
Son of a bitch!
It was then that the last bunch of bandits jumped out of hiding.
Why won't this asshole give up? Would someone please kill him? Why won't this asshole give up? Would someone please kill him?
Eventually, it was just me and Reed. I had waited a long time to face him down, so I could repay him for what he did to my brothers. And repay him I did. Well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat. "40 years I had waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of demons could have stopped me now. Jim Reed fell fairly quickly, but the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant, that son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly. But the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant, that son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he'd be close to 70.
For all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind, as did others.
자주포는 뭐 보이는 게 없잖아요. 지가 쏘고 있어도.
아니 근데 솔직히 그 관전자가 고스트 쉘이 아니고 이제 탄환 관점으로 봐줘야 되는 거 아니야? 딱 쏘면은.
레알로. 근데 그게 있으면은 약간 관측방 같은 거 아니야 그러면? 아군